It's 4 o'clock in Los Angeles. It's 6 o'clock in Dallas, Texas. And it's 7 p.m. and we're live in Philadelphia. Hello, everybody. I'm Mad Dog DeCipio. This is America's Popcast. What's the buzz? Tonight, a very special Friday evening edition with a very, very special guest. But before our guest joins us, I want to introduce you to a buddy of mine. I haven't seen him in a very long time, and he reached out, and I reached back, and here we are reaching out for each other. This is Benny, the Playa Scala, formerly known as Scala from Ocala, now of Newport Richey, Florida. How are you, Benny?
Good. Pleasure to be here.
Great to have you here. We got Johnny Whitaker on the show tonight.
Oh, man.
Johnny will be here. Johnny is fashionably late, and we are unfashionably early. So Johnny will be popping in here shortly. When he's on time, it's rare. So just so you know, if you ever have Johnny as a guest, be prepared to wait a minute.
he's like Bret Hart, right? The Bret Hart showed up about a half an hour before his match.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, him and Hulk Hogan. Yeah,
But,
Hulk was another one that showed up fashionably late. Well, because he could. He's one of the few people, God rest his soul, that could get away with that.
Well, let me tell you, Johnny Whitaker is worth waiting for.
Well, good. It's a good guy. He's a real good guy. I confirmed it last night. Talked to him for a little bit. So let me tell everybody about what Benny Scala does for a living here. Well, he's semi-retired. I say semi because they have him working like a dog with this wrestling show. Now, what's the actual name of the show, Ben? Because I don't really know.
The wrestling show is When It Was Real, based on Nikita Brezhnikov's book of the same name. So we're up to episode number 62 this week. We're going to cover the night of April 30th, 1977, which was the night that Superstar beat Bruno for the title
in Baltimore.
Yeah. What a night.
Oh, man, that was a hell of a night. That place... They said the Baltimore Civic Center. They did it in Baltimore for a reason. Do you know why?
Oh, yeah.
Well,
because
people who don't know wrestling.
I want to hear your version.
Well, people who don't know wrestling need to understand that wrestling today is considered entertainment by and large. It's an exhibition, not in Baltimore, Maryland, though, not in the state of Maryland. You win or lose in Baltimore, brother, it counts as a win or a loss, and it stays, and it's forever.
I've heard that their state athletic commission meant business there.
They still do. You can't play around in Baltimore, brother. I'll tell you what, they're for real. They are for real. What happened that night when Superstar beat Bruno, they did that. The Vince McMahon Sr., well, actually Vincent James McMahon, did that in Baltimore for knowing that it would stay and it could not be contested. That's the main thing about Baltimore. Once the ruling is made by a ref, and every referee in Baltimore works for the state. It's not like, where you give your buddy $100 to be your ref for the night. That stuff don't play in Baltimore, brother. Not in Maryland. So what happened was when Superstar beat Bruno, because Bruno was just tired. He wanted out. He needed a break, and it was just time for him.
It was time.
He'd been wrestling since the late 50s, early 60s. Champion since '63, pretty much all the way into the 70s, really.
And he had a legit broken neck, in the previous April.
Yeah. And I remember watching that show the other night where you guys did the Bruno Stan Hansen match. Boy, that was brutal. But the guy came back
50 years ago, Angelo, a half a century. Where'd the damn time go?
I know, it's crazy.
We were kids back then. We're still kids, but
Tracy Parsons. Yeah, he's on Mormon time.
He's at MST.
She must be a friend of Johnny.
MST, Mormon Standard Time.
That's funny. That is funny. Yeah, he'll show up eventually. And if he doesn't, I have his number. We'll call him. We'll just, John, where are you, brother? But yeah, what happened in Baltimore that night was that place came apart at the seams. They wanted to kill Superstar. Like he literally had to use the championship belt as a lasso to get people away from him so he could get back to the dressing room.
Right.
You know that he got shanked a couple times going down the uphill. Yeah.
People took their wrestling that's what people don't realize nowadays, how seriously fans back in the 70s took. It was life and death to those people.
I got a friend of mine called me today. Interesting. He called me today. He wants to do. He's a former indie wrestler named Armageddon. Mike Murphy. I think
I was on a show with Mike before. Nice guy.
Yes, you were. As a matter of fact, you were. Mike Murphy wants to do, and I told him I would run this by you because when it comes to wrestling, I defer to you. You are the sage. You know. So he wants to do a wrestling roundtable and talk about largely indie wrestling and how indie wrestling affects the big time wrestling. We know how big time wrestling like WWE and AEW, we know how that affects the indies, but what's the opposite effect? What happens when the indies affect what the big leagues are doing? It's an interesting question to think about.
Very interesting topic, yeah.
I think that would be a hell of a discussion.
And he's very knowledgeable.
She is. Do me a favor, Tracy. Would you tell Johnny that we're here talking about him and make sure that he knows that we're here
in a good way.
Oh yeah, absolutely, of course. So now let me ask you a question about the book because I have Nikita's book and I've read it cover to cover. Are you guys going to do? You're going in sequence. The show is going in sequence with the book.
Well, what we're doing, not really. No, what we're doing is like like this past week we covered April 26th to 76, which was when Bruno got his neck broken. But now we're covering like this coming Wednesday. We're covering April 30th, 77. So we go back and forth, and then every once in a while we'll do a show like we've done shows about Chief. We've done shows about Ernie Ladd. Arion, who is I think one of the most underrated great heels. So and then every once in a while, like we had the three amigos with friends of yours, Tony Gurria, Davey O'Hannon, and Johnny Rods.
There you go.
Yeah.
I make a question for you. Spiros Arion, is he still around?
He is apparently alive and well.
Is he really in Greece?
Yeah.
Really?
He left. Yeah.
I thought he was. I don't know why, Benny, but I thought he was gone a long time ago.
No, I guess he's about 83. But I tell you what, somebody is going to get him for a podcast, and that's going to be the crown jewel of podcasting, getting a guy like that.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's certainly a coup. It was a coup. Well, I'll tell you what, it was a coup for me to get on one show J.J. Dillon, Larry Zbyszko, Dominic DiNucci, Davey O'Hannon, Sal Carenti, myself, Dan the Man, and that was Bruno Sammartino's birthday show. He would have been, it was the first show. Here's Johnny. It was the first show after he passed away.
Okay.
So
I think that was a great show.
Yeah. Is that Johnny? Are you here, brother?
I'm trying to get my camera to work.
Okay, take your time. We're here. Your friend Tracy it was my liaison. Is my liaison.
Let's see here.
We'll wait for you all night, my friend. We'll wait for you all night. Oh, there we go. He got disconnected.
He'll be back.
Yeah. That's all right. We'll take care of it. Yeah, John.
Angelo, wasn't that the same reason that Pedro he lost the belt to Stasiak in Philly rather than the Garden, because that would have been a jihad if he lost the belt to the Garden.
Yeah. They did it in Philadelphia because Philadelphia was predominantly Italian.
Right.
Where
New York was more Hispanic. Well, a lot of Italian too, but
oh yeah, it was crazy. It was bizarre. They wanted to kill him.
That would not have gone well at the Garden.
Oh, terrible. I said, we see Johnny made it in, but we're waiting for his camera.
Okay, let's see here.
Take your time, Johnny.
Stop my cam, edit avatar.
I think you had problems the last time too getting in.
Yeah, let's see here.
I always tell people Johnny Whitaker is well worth waiting for.
Oh, wow.
I said you're absolutely well worth waiting for. We got a special.
Well,
my dear friend Benny is here tonight.
Okay, there we go.
He is. Hot damn, brother! You are a star of this kind of magnitude. You get the big camera, and let's welcome Johnny Whitaker properly like this. Beautiful. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing well, thank you.
I want to tell everybody about who you are. Johnny Whitaker is a AAA threat. He's an actor, an activist, and an advocate. He is a guy who spends his time well, does not waste a minute, and lives life to his fullest. And his greatest quality, folks, I don't know, just tell you straight up. You hear it from me. His greatest quality is that he's my friend. That's his best qualities, my buddy. How are you, John?
Absolutely.
You are looking wonderful tonight. We had you on. This is your third appearance with us.
Oh wow, I'm on.
Yeah. Well, the second interview we did from you was at Christmas time, 24. You were in the car. You had your Santa hat on, looking very much like Santa Claus. You remember that night?
I think so, yes.
You were on your way to see a show with a car full of friends.
Okay.
In LA. It was a Christmas show. I know I have to remind you because you probably do more in a week than I do in 6 months. So let me introduce you to my friend Benny Scala. Benny, I want you to meet my buddy Johnny Whitaker, star of Family Affair.
Due sono italiani, sì.
Yeah. See.
Oh, do you need to do something, John?
No.
Okay.
My roommate just didn't know I was on.
Oh, got you covered. Okay. So yeah, we are we're here. We were with you the last time, and I think we lost connection with you because you were in a car at Christmas time on your way to see a show in Los Angeles, and we lost signal and weren't able to connect and get up. And this is the first time since 2024 that I've been able to really just meet up with you on this way.
Well,
but Benny
I'm glad that we finally did it.
Benny is a dear friend of mine who has an incredibly popular professional wrestling show. He's from the world of pro wrestling, but he's also, as we say in the wrestling business, he's a mark. He's a Johnny Whitaker mark.
Absolutely, 100%.
And he promised me he was going to mark out for you tonight.
Absolutely.
And so I will do this. If it's okay with you, Johnny, I would like to give the first round of questions to Benny.
Absolutely.
Go for it, Ben.
Thank you. So, Johnny, I'm a retired accountant, so I'm a numbers geek. And I wanted to see the ratings, and I looked at 1967, 1968. Family Affair was number 5, which is fantastic. But to me, the interesting part of it is that the 4 shows in front of you were Andy Griffith, which was in their 8th season. Lucy was in her 6th. Gomer Pyle, which was an Andy spin-up, was in its 4th. But then Gunsmoke was in its 13th. And then right behind you was Bonanza in their 9th and Red Skelton in their 17th. And I believe at this point, it was only your second season. So what made Family Affair catch on so quickly?
Well, I think that Family Affair was originally set for a 6-year-old girl, a 10-year-old boy, and a 16-year-old girl, all brother and sisters. And then when I showed up, the only 6-year-old boy at the screen test, they saw Buffy and Jody as being twins, and they redid everything and said, okay, we're going to do twins. And I believe that the combination of these two cute little kids that were twins, and that everybody just kind of fell in love with us. Of course, Sissy, a very important role as the big sister, and then Mr. French as the gentleman's gentleman, and then the hunka Brian Keith for all the moms that, and in Italy, during the 70s, late 60s and 70s, if you saw an American looking boy in the street, you would say, there goes a Jody. And the show was so popular in Italia. For that reason, I think it was just the fact that the show had like an Aesop fable. Every 23 minutes in that we did an episode, there was a beginning, middle, and end, and it was always a positive story that was made. And I think that's kind of what gave it its charm, because it was always something positive. In those days, everything had to be G-rated and everything had to be positive, but we still were able to. We crossed a couple of barriers. We had a little black girl that had some problems. We dealt with a little girl who was dying of leukemia, and some other things that were serious. But overall, Family Affair was considered a dramedy. And this year, in September, will be the 60th anniversary of Family Affair.
Wow. Jeez.
It's remarkable. Remarkable to think 60 years ago, Benny. 60 years. We were just talking about, in the terms of professional wrestling, talking about before you got here, Johnny, 50 years between Benny and I talking about something. 60 years is just staggering to think in terms that here's the staggering part. The people still remember. Well,
you gotta be over 55 or 60.
I qualify.
Yeah. Unless you watched it in reruns.
Yeah.
And if that was the case, then it's okay in reruns.
Well, you and I are the same age, John. We're exactly the same age. And
1955, a little bit older.
Yeah.
Okay.
A little bit. Yeah.
So you were looking at Sissy.
Let's talk. The last time you were here, we spent a lot of time, probably the better part of an hour and a half, talking about substance abuse, your struggles personally and professionally. I don't want to do that. I don't want to rehash. So I want to talk tonight about acting, directors, producers, what it's like to be in the business, what's important about maintaining your profile, why some people want to get out and why some people will never get out. So I'm going to talk about that. It's interesting that when we spoke the first time, you said to me that this is something that you wanted to do. You felt like that you could do this when you were 4, 5, 6 years old. So talk to me about maintaining that longevity. You're still a guy that every now and then you'll do television. Every now and then you'll pop up in a film. So it's not something that you've walked away from. Talk to me about maintaining longevity.
Well, I think you have to continually reinvent yourself. I'm sure you've heard that many times from a lot of actors and musicians and individuals. I was one of the child actors that was very lucky in the fact that I was able to do many more series as guest starring and films that not all young actors are able to do.
Yeah.
So
sure.
I think that my agent, Mary Grady, God
Right.
rest her soul,
Yes.
a good Agrati, a good Italian woman.
I remember her.
And she made sure that when we were on hiatus, I would audition or do other things beside Family Affair.
Yeah.
Plus, on the weekends, while we were filming, and then when we were on hiatus, we always had publicity junkets that we had to do. In season 2 of Family Affair, between season 1 and 2, I guess, I'm not exactly sure, but the Cinderella line of clothes asked the producers if they could dress Buffy. And so they did. And one of the benefits to the producers is anytime that the wardrobe person would purchase items, they had to buy 3 of them, because just in case one got dirty or, one got torn, they had backups, because the way that we filmed Family Affair was in such a way that it was Brian was there 3 months out of the year, and the other 6 months he was not, but the 4 of us would be there for the duration.
Yeah.
But they did the Buffy line of clothes, and Anissa went out on tour with her line of clothes. And between in about the second season, Elder Manufacturing Company, who did Tom Sawyer line of clothes that had nothing to do with the movie, they asked if I would wear their clothing. So during the hiatus, I was busy on these tours and junkets with publicity and all of that. Plus, I was doing Gunsmoke, Bonanza, and Bewitched. I did Virginian.
Oh, yeah. Well, from 1965, it would start with General Hospital. The Russians are coming. The Russians are coming. Family Affair. The Lucy Show. The Virginian. Bewitched. Gunsmoke. Snowball Express. Now you see him. Now you don't.
No, that wasn't me.
Finn.
Now you see him. Now you don't. And I didn't do the Lucy Show.
Oh, okay. Well, they said that you played a student in that.
Well, that was in Green Acres. Where
gotcha. Okay.
2 episodes of Green Acres, and Ava Gabor wanted to adopt me.
Oh, gee. Well, let me ask you a question about that. When you did all of this running around on behalf of the show, did you have a handler, or was your mom with you, or who took you around to these gigs?
Well, it was mostly my mother. As I got older, my sister Laurie and my sister Sherry, who were over 18 at the time, could be my my guardian, but most of the time it was mom.
Right. Benny, questions?
Yeah, I mean, perfect segue. And Johnny, to answer your earlier question, I did like Sissy, but I had the hots for Elizabeth Montgomery, and then I morphed over to Susan Day around 1970. Not that I didn't like Sissy, but speaking of all those shows, I have to believe that there were other shows that maybe you turned down, or maybe a show that you wanted to star in. Now, I could have seen you as Danny Partridge, and I wanted to get your reaction to that.
Well, I believe I can sing better than he. But Danny is an acquaintance. He's a friend. We don't hang out. But I believe that we've had some similar situations.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think what I was in the middle of doing, because that came out in 70 or 71.
1970s. Yeah, late 70s.
And so I was still in Family Affair at that time. And then 71, when Family Affair ended, I started doing the 4 Walt Disney films, and then 72, Tom Sawyer, and then 72 and a half and 3 to 5, Sigmund and the Sea Monsters. So
Wow.
I was pretty busy, but that would have been fun to be with Susan Day.
Go ahead, Ben.
Yeah. So I found a Johnny Whitaker album on Spotify. I do a weekend radio show, and a couple of really nice tunes on there, actually several. Was that something, I guess, how come we didn't hear more of you musically? I really thought that would have, been a good product.
Well, thank you. And I think that it was great. The Jansen and Hart were the writers of most of the music and lyrics, and Wes Farrell was the producer. And of course, he did a lot of teeny bopper stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And with lots of different, teeny bopper guys. I don't know why exactly, because Sigmund is one of the top-rated children's non-cartoon shows of its era. And with Sid and Marty Krofft, there's only 2 shows that went more than 1 season, and that was Sigmund and Land of the Lost. But, the audience is fickle, and they, do what they do. Donny Osmond is my nemesis. There was a Teen Beat magazine, who is a better kisser, Donny Osmond or Johnny Whitaker? Now, both of us are LDS, so, we can't really have any kind of a relationship until we were 16. Plus, and I don't know, I think it was in 73, 74. So I was still 14. He may have been 16, but he won that, that prize, whatever it was. And I never kissed anybody. So I don't know. I just say that Donnie had a better publicity agent than I did.
Yeah, it was fixed. Like wrestling.
Go ahead, Ben. I'm going to put you over tonight. Go for it.
All right, well, Johnny, I have to thank you for something. I actually watched an episode of you on the Dating Game yesterday. I guess it was
which one?
1973. You were Tom Sawyer.
Tom Sawyer. Okay, the 2 of us, because I did do one in 67.
Okay. Wow, you would have been what, 8 then, right?
7.
Okay. But like for years, I've had this stigma about watching the Dating Game because all I could think of was Rodney Alcala, the Dating Game killer. I know Angela's familiar with him.
Yes.
So seeing you, it reinstituted my love of the Dating Game. So thank you. And I wanted to, I guess, 2-part question, or 1 question, 1 comment. One is, did you have as much fun as it looked like you were having? And 2, it just, to me, like that, I think that was 1973. That show.
Yes.
Just the interaction between you and the young ladies and the questions, it just took me back to how much more wholesome life was back then. And can you imagine if there was a dating game 2026, the kind of questions that would be asked now?
Well,
Oh my
everybody's
God.
sleeping with everybody on the first date.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and it's kind of sad, but
Yeah.
Jeff East and I did that. He was the first one, and then I was the second one, and it was promoting the film Tom Sawyer that came out in 1973.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember with Jeff, I think it was his dad and my dad were our chaperones, along with the chaperone. And the two young ladies were very nice, very sweet, and we had a good time. It was great. One of the other great things about that Tom Sawyer is Jeff and I went over to London and got a special premiere of Tom Sawyer in some big place there. I forget exactly where, but they also then sent my father and Jeff's father and Jeff and me over to Paris, and
Wow.
that was fun. But many years ago, it's 53 years ago that Tom Sawyer came out.
Amazing. Johnny, let's talk a little bit about being a child actor. There are child actors that have been around since Shirley Temple and probably before. Talk to me about the pressure on a kid 6, 7 years old working in television, working on a series, and talk to me about maintaining some sense of normalcy. If there is such a thing in the entertainment business anymore, I really don't know.
Well, for me, my normal was waking up at 6 a.m., having family prayer at little after 6, taking a shower, depending on who had to take a shower first, but I kind of got first dibs because I was working. Mom and dad had their own downstairs, but I then had breakfast, hopped in the car, left our home at 7 a.m. My mother drove. I would read my lines on the way to the studio. At 8 o'clock, we were on the set, and then I went and changed my clothes into the first setup, went into school, went on the set, went back to school, on the set, school, set. We went to lunch, had an hour for lunch, did some more school, set school. 5 o'clock, the bell rang. We had to leave. Home by 6, dinner by 6:30. Studying my lines. Because of my school, I didn't really have any homework. But then family prayer, bed by 9:30. And while my mom was cleaning the house and picking up after the kids, she then went to my room and read me my lines in my sleep.
Wow.
And that's how I got and that was 5 days a week.
That's remarkable. Johnny, I am up against a hard break. Let me do this and we'll come right back.
Hey Max, what's going on? I'm X, and from this moment on, I'm going to be your own personal AI DJ on Spotify. Let's go. Up next, I know you've been on a summer song kick lately, so I went back for some of your old summertime favorites. See if it warms you up.
You can call
Next up, some of the music you had on a lot back in 2018.
Do you think of me? Walking out there.
All right, Max, let's get you out of your feels and switch up the vibe. You've been into dance music lately. I got this brand new release to get you moving. Introducing DJ, the best of Spotify made just for you, one tap away. Powered by AI, delivered by me.
You're on a hot date, you're making the cut. You can't be dealing with a faulty left nut. Manscaped is the answer for your gnarly nut sack. Before that babe tells you to hit the road, Jack. In this crazy world of ours, we're often climbing the walls. In all of the confusion, don't forget about your balls. Manscaped to the rescue for your precious crown jewels. Get it today, don't delay.
Please be good to your tools.
And we're back with Johnny Whitaker on What's the Buzz, America's podcast, WTBR Radio, 88.7 on the Cattail Satellite Network and around the world. Benny, questions for Big John.
Yeah, so I'm a wrestling fan since, 1968. And, magazines are a thing of the past. But back in the late 60s, early 70s, wrestling magazines were everything to wrestling fans. I remember my sister was a big Bobby Sherman fan from Here Come the Brides. So I think the names of the magazines were Tiger Beat, I think was one of them. I think 16 was another one. To a fan, those were everything. How did you, as an actor, what did those magazines mean to you?
Well, today it would be podcasts and that recognition. Back then, I just liked work. I wasn't so concerned about my face being everywhere or whatever. And trying to get my office cleaned up here and didn't do it in time. So I've got my... Anyway,
It's all good.
So I didn't go after like some people would. I mean, if I had my own publicity director, publicity agent, I guess they would do it. But I didn't have that growing up. So, I didn't have that. Hold on just 1 second. My camera. Maybe that's a little better.
There you go.
I was trying to get it on my cell phone because I've got a very expensive cell phone, but it wasn't connecting. So anyway, but with the magazines, I was on, I think, 3 TV guide covers. And on, TV Mirror was a big one back then. But Tiger Beat and 16 and a couple of those were big for teenagers. And, being Tom Sawyer and then Johnny and Sigmund and the Sea Monsters, that was my little niche, I guess. But I never went after it. It just kind of was there.
Right.
So, question about maintaining this, going back to what I said earlier about maintaining longevity and dealing with being a child in the entertainment business. You enjoyed it. We talked about this before. You enjoyed being an actor. Do you still enjoy watching younger people act? And if so, what is it? Do any of those feelings come back? Like, or is it something that you look at now and go, I feel sorry for these kids?
Well, I don't know the backstory for many of them, so I couldn't talk about their personal lives. I know you know, I don't know him personally, but Macaulay Culkin was a great young actor, did a great job. Unfortunately, problems came up, and they don't like kids to grow up. Christopher Knight had a great saying. He said, Hollywood loves you when you're a puppy, but they throw you to the street when you become a dog.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's kind of true, that it's less true today. I think in the 80s and 90s, we have some, you know, good adult actors who were child actors and who have to continue. But moreover, I would say it's a difficult role to play as a human being. Everybody wants to be liked or loved.
Right.
You can see all these people with their, how many likes do you get, you know, and people get excited to see that 20 people have liked your story or liked your comment or, you know, hated what you did. So, and unfortunately, it is forever and ever.
Yeah.
Because it's on the internet. And that's why everybody has to be very careful. And I'm very glad that they're getting some guardrails and guidance, especially for children, and that you can't just, you know, show pictures of children without parental permission. And all of that. But, you know, growing up was not normal for my life.
Right.
But it was normal to me.
Yeah. The single greatest piece of advice anybody ever gave you, and the single greatest piece of advice you would give a would-be actor or actress watching this show tonight?
Number one, I do master acting classes throughout the country, and I'm planning to do one, hopefully, just got started in June or early July in the South. But my number one comment that I give to the kids, because I teach, you know, 5 to 12-year-olds and then 12 to 20-year-olds and then adults, because I think that you have to keep them in certain groups, but we can put them together for scenes and all. But the number one thing that I say to the kids is have fun. If you're not having fun, don't do it.
Excellent advice. Excellent advice.
I always had fun. And it was a job for sure, but I always had fun. And my parents and the adults that I worked with always made sure that I was safe and that I felt safe. And it wasn't until I was a teenager and a young adult that things started to get a little weird. But most of the time, everything that happened, I was having tons of fun, and I loved it.
We have a guy in the chat tonight. He's actually part of this show. He's one of my segment producers. He's also an actor that's done some work with HBO. the Righteous Gemstones and the vice principals, both the Danny McBride projects. His name is Cal Yater. He calls himself Cal the actor. He has a question for you, and he wants to know what's the best approach to take he's a 36, 37-year-old man. The best advice you could give for him, what approach should he take in pursuing this career onward? Because he started fairly late in life, John.
Well, number one is always have a second job.
Right. Okay. Absolutely.
Have an income, because most of the time you cannot trust the fact that you will have a job. Making money in Hollywood, you make 2, 3, 10, 20, 30 grand per, couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you make a lot of money, good money, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if that's all you do, I mean, in Screen Actors Guild, there is 90% of the actors make less than a living wage as actors.
Yeah.
So number one is have some kind of an income, unless you are adamant that, you're going to do it no matter what. I respect anyone who has the chutzpah and the temerity to say, no, that's what I want to do. And that's wonderful. I'm a pragmatist. I like to try to be as open and clear about the realities. I mean, even after 63 years as an actor, the last 40 years have been, or 50 years have been less than living wage as far as acting goes. But so number one, have a second or a first job, whatever you want to call it, and never give up. Always work on your craft, no matter what it is. On a weekly basis, I have the opportunity to do Zoom classes with some students of mine. And it's always, I'm in front of a camera and I'm working and performing to a certain extent, and preparing yourself for that. When I was growing up as an actor, very few people were on television. Now, anyone with a cell phone has a TikTok account and on television, whether it's avert or horizontal, and being somebody or can be somebody just because they're there.
Advice you have for, and this is a tough one, knowing what you know, how do you protect a young actor from the inevitable pariah in the entertainment business, either an untoward producer or director who has nefarious intentions? How do you do that today? And is it even possible to do that today?
Well, thank goodness Screen Actors Guild has many stopgaps, especially for children. You cannot be in a room by yourself with one other producer or director.
Yeah.
And I think kids and parents should have a third eye that is always kind of feeling the room, feeling the vibe.
Yeah.
Evil people have an evil vibe.
Yeah.
And no matter how much money you might be making, it's not worth it to have, a life of regret and shame and all of that. And I mean, there are some parents who have basically sold their daughters and sons into slavery for Hollywood.
Terrible.
It's few and far between.
Yeah.
But there still are those who have done so.
Yeah, but it happens. That's the whole thing. It happens. Benny, questions for Johnny Whitaker.
Yes, yeah, I've been waiting for this one. So I heard you tell a story, Johnny, that you wanted to go to Boy Scout camp right before, I guess, Tom Sawyer was going to start filming. And I guess you had to raise $250. And I'm thinking that's a lot of money back in 1973. That's about like $1,900. And your parents wouldn't let you use your acting money. You had to go door to door and sell greeting cards. And then once you did that and raised the money, I guess you were getting a lot of pressure from the folks at Tom Sawyer to start. And you insisted, hey man, I earned my money. I'm going to this camp. And then there was like a huge amount of like, I guess they helicopter you from the camp to the airport. But I give you a lot of credit because that to me, it shows a great sense of right and wrong and balance.
Well, my parents insisted that, I wanted to use my money that I had made, but I couldn't use my money because all the other boys were selling greeting cards door to door. And my parents wanted me to do the same thing that the other boys did. Well, you have Johnny Whitaker, Jody, knock on your door. I sold easily the $250 worth of, greeting cards. And the producers, Apjack Productions and the 20th Century Fox had seen a total of about 3,500 boys for the roles of Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn.
Wow.
My agent, Mary Grady, told them that I was the only one that could do the job. And, they said, no, he's too cute. He's, too lovable and adorable. We don't want that. We want a rough and tumble kid. And so she said, fine, you're going to, go all over the world, but you're not going to find anybody except Johnny Whitaker. Well, she was able to convince them on the day that they were doing the screen tests. I had not come in to see the producers or director or casting director before then. And so they paired me up with Jodie Foster and we did the kissing scene, Jody and I. And Jeff East and I, we did the very first scene of the film where we're talking about the Witter Douglas and her dead cat. And the only way that I would go to this audition was I told my agent, well, I'm not going to do that because I've got Boy Scout camp. And she goes, well, just go to meet them. Maybe they'll like you for something else. So I went there. My parents were there, my mom and my dad, for this screen test. And I nailed it. And Ross Brown was the name of the casting director. He, told me and my parents to come into his office. And he said, Johnny, I did not know that you were such a good actor. I said, well, thank you. And I thought you were too cute, but you have uglied up. You are Tom Sawyer. Thought that's kind of a backhanded compliment, but
Yeah, right.
And he said, and we want to offer you the job. I said, I'm sorry, I can't take it. And my parents' jaws dropped. What? He said, no, I've got to go to Boy Scout camp, and I planned on to spend the summer with my family. I'd been away for the last umpteen years working, and now I want to spend time with my family. And my mom and dad looked at each other and thought, okay, this kind of backfired, having to do your own selling the greeting cards and all. But they agreed that I could go to Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then they would pick me up on Tuesday morning. I thought that somebody said that it was a helicopter, one of the boys, but I believe it was my Uncle Gordon, who came up in a limousine paid for by 20th Century Fox to pick me up at the Boy Scout camp, and then took me straight to the airport. And my sister was with him, and got to the airport and flew to Missouri. My family had started to drive to Missouri because I also said I wouldn't do Tom Sawyer unless my whole family could join me. And instead of staying in a hotel, we'd rent an apartment. And, we had a 3-bedroom apartment, and I slept with the boys, and my sisters slept together, and my mom and dad had their room. And, we had a great time.
Johnny, your time with me is just about up. Benny, you got final questions for Johnny Whitaker?
Well, I did a lot of research. You've worn a lot of hats over the years. Actor. I guess at one point you were a computer consultant. You were an agent, and then finally a certified drug and alcohol counselor. If you could go back in time, is there anything else you would add to the list? And is there anything you would scratch off the list?
Well, right now I am in pre-production for a film that my best friend and roommate, D. Bryant Liggins, and myself have written. It's called Sky Blue, SKYEBLEU, and you can find us at skybluemovie.com. And we wrote it, and I graduated from Brigham Young University as a film and television producer, actor, director.
Wow.
But I never really had the opportunity to do that. And so at 66 years old, I'm throwing out 4 Hail Mary passes, and one of them is this film. It's a short, and it's about a white supremacist who finds that he's the only living relative to his mixed race granddaughter.
Oh, wow.
And so we're hoping to have it completed before the end of the year, and take it around and get it recognized. And I'd like to continue doing more of that.
Brother, when it's ready, you let me know. I will work the phones for you. We got a lot of connections on this show.
Great.
We really do. My friend, I have to let you go. Your time with me is over tonight. Have a great evening. I want you to plug away. Where can people reach you?
Well, JohnnyWhitaker.com is probably the best, but right now it's a little, I've got to fix it up. Also, Sky Blue, and that's SKYEBLEU movie.com. You can go to Facebook and type in Johnny Whitaker Actor and join my Facebook community. I am pretty active on there, and my one of my administrators is always putting up episodes of things that I've done and kind of different things, so that you can kind of just see some of my work that I've done in the past, and some of what I've done in the current time. And I'm on X. You can be a Whitaker.
Nice.
even though it's now X, but I like Whitakers.
Whitaker.
And find me wherever actors are sold.
Yeah, you can. Well, I'll tell you what, my friend. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I know your time is precious and you're a busy man. We're going to let you go tonight. God bless you. Have a great, great evening. And thank you once again for doing this solid for me. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. And anytime, I'm always here for you.
I appreciate it. Benny.
Ciao,
there you
bello.
go, kid.
Yes. Thank you for taking me back to 1966. I needed to go back there.
Thank you so much, Johnny. Take care, my friend. Ciao.
Bene, bene. Grazie tanti.
All right.
Wow.
What'd you think of that, Ben?
Oh man, what a pleasure that was. What a great guy.
I'll tell you what, he never hesitates. Whenever I call him and ask him to come, he's been here. This is like his fourth time here, third or fourth time. And he never says no to me. It's like, I wish I had something to give him other than, compliments. We're poor, so we have no money.
Right.
So I can't give him, any of that. But we can show him a good time here and, and thank him, basically. Just thank him for all the work that he's done and, surviving Hollywood, surviving childhood in Hollywood. That's a big deal, Ben.
Yeah. I mean, when I look back, he and I guess Pamela and Burton were probably the two busiest child actors, at that time.
Oh, God,
Johnny was all over the place.
Craziness. It really, really is.
Yeah.
I encourage everybody, if you get a chance, go on to What's the Buzz podcast on YouTube. Check out Johnny's first interview with us. It was almost 3 hours long.
Wow.
It was 2 hours and 44 minutes or something like it. It was a long time. It was a really long interview. We got people in the chat. Let's see who the hell's here tonight. Let's see, Amelia. Oh, here we go. Amelia's here. Johnny, will you have an autobiography in the works soon? Well, I think that's entirely possible, Amelia. Great show. Thank you, Amelia. Appreciate that.
Writer here. I would do it for nothing just to be able to work with him on that.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Absolutely. You'd be hard pressed to find many people who would turn that opportunity down for sure.
Angelo, he really takes the time. You can tell, like when he's answering these questions, he really thinks about his answers. He's not just shooting stuff out. He's really giving thoughtful answers.
Yeah. Well, and I normally I would have kept him here for another hour and a half, 2 hours, because he would do it. But we do have time constraints tonight. And the other thing is, I just wanted to hang out with Benny to play a Scala tonight for a little bit.
Just for old time's
okay?
sake. Yeah.
Because Johnny will definitely be anytime we want him to come back, he'll come back. That's
well, I'm with you though, Angelo. If there's a way I can help him promote that movie, I'm all in.
Oh, absolutely, for sure. Tell you what, being all in. Let's talk about being all in. I want to show everybody something we got for you. Check this out. Look at this. See that? That good-looking guy there. Look at that.
Shirt too.
Yeah. Wait a minute. It gets good. Look at this. I mean, it's hard. First of all, it's hard to improve on perfection, but there you go. Now you got the in-person version. See? Now, watch this. Check this out. There you go.
Love it.
Get it. Look at it. It's all about marketing. My kitchen came in handy for something. So check this out. If you want them, it's real simple. You go here, go to WTBRradio.podbean.com, go to our merch section. And while you're there, check out our shows. There are more than 900 uploaded shows just on our radio hub. We've got almost 1,700 videos. That's all crazy stuff. Almost 1,700 videos between Wrestling with the Future, What's the Buzz podcast, and Behind the Veil. And we're not done yet.
You might have like a whole year's worth of content 24/7.
I'm telling you what, man. And new sponsors. Check this out. Two River Coffee Company in Twin Rivers, New Jersey. We got, and I'm having tonight. I had the Snickers. We got Snickers and Twix here, and I'm gonna tell you something.
That sounds really good.
They are, and you know what, Benny? I'm gonna send you some down there to Florida.
Please do, yeah.
I am absolutely gonna do that. I'm gonna put a little care package together for you. We got some amazing sponsors here. We really, really do, and I appreciate everything they do for us.
Commercial, boy, that was great. That reminded me. I think they played that song at my junior high prom. Maybe not.
I know the guy that wrote that commercial.
Yeah, me too. I know a guy.
He's a real player, man.
That's right.
Benny, we're here, you and me. Let's talk. Yeah, why don't we? I'm going to do something I haven't done in a long time. A long time. I'm going to talk wrestling with you.
Oh boy.
I want to talk. Yeah, I want to get back into wrestling with the future mode for a minute. I know we talked a little bit about before we went on the air. We'll do maybe a wrestling roundtable. I think that's going to work. I think we're going to do that. Let me ask you a question. I really haven't had a chance to talk wrestling with you much at all, to be honest. It's an interesting day to be a wrestling fan. It's in some ways very, very sad to see what's happening, and in some very interesting ways, kind of exciting at the same time. I see what AEW is doing and trying to do. I can't understand how Tony Khan is making it, because he's a nice guy, and nice guys in the wrestling business, they don't last long.
Two words: daddy's money.
Yeah, well, there you go. Well, Tony's got his own money too. He's a very wealthy guy.
Yeah. They got to be down at least. How long have they been in business, Andrew? I don't really watch them. It's like 7 or 8 years now.
It's 2018.
So what? Yeah,
because it's funny, and the only reason I know that, Benny, the only reason I know that is because God rest his soul, the late Jeff DeRef was my co-host, and that show started, Wrestling with the Future started as a result of All In and /AEW. That's when the Young Bucks and Cody had this idea for a secondary promotion, well, a third promotion, really, because WCW was kind of like on their way out at that moment. It was interesting that basically the Wrestling with the Future podcast started kind of as, AEW, really. And I don't watch a lot of it, but I see what's happening. Yeah, daddy's money for sure. No argument there. But I don't understand. There's on a couple levels, I don't understand. I don't understand WWE, why they are hemorrhaging money, why Tony Khan is spending untold hundreds of millions of dollars when the viewership on either program is less than 1 million people.
Thank
so
you.
Smarten me up, like we say in the business, Benny. Smarten me up, because the old guy here. Maybe I'm not as sharp as I used to be, bro.
No, you absolutely are. I think, and this is a great conversation because, we were around when the territories were around, right? We were the 30 territories around the country.
Yep.
And each territory employed a certain number of wrestlers. Each territory had their own TV show. They had their own, loop. The certain arenas that they wrestle in every week, sometimes once a month.
Yeah.
But this would be an interesting analysis to do if you took all the attendance for all 30 territories, all the TV attendance. I guarantee you it dwarfs what the very few people. I mean, how many people watched that first Saturday Night Live? Wasn't it 33 million?
Yeah, it was an astronomical number.
Yeah, where are those people now? They're lucky if they get 1 million, like you said.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But what I don't understand, and maybe is that, and you're an ex-promoter. What they're doing now is they're buying, and I don't understand this. They're buying. It's like they're collecting toys, right?
Mhm.
They need all these expensive toys, and they unwrap the toy, they use it for a little bit, and they throw it in the discard pile with all the other toys. The problem is that back in the day, if you had a run in, say, Mid-South Wrestling for 9 months, well then maybe you're not getting booked the way you want. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to Portland. I'm gonna go to Amarillo. I'm gonna go to Kansas City or
Yeah,
Florida.
you had options. You had other
Right.
places to go to ply your trade.
Now it's like my dad used to say, "Okis tu gats," right? Like take it or leave it.
Yeah. What do you got two?
Right.
I mean, really, for all intents and purposes, forget it. I mean, no disrespect to the indie circuit, but forget about them for the moment, because pro wrestling right now is WWE and AEW.
Yeah, and everything else is
You can forget about like Ring of Honor. I don't even know if they're still a thing. MLW, I don't know if that's a thing still. So we're talking about groups that who the hell even knows if they're still around. And of course you got, Dave Meltzer's, God bless him. He's got, his All Japan wrestling. He loves Japanese wrestling, that guy.
He sure does.
And but I don't understand it. I don't understand how they can afford to just burn money. They had a WrestleMania for the first time ever. I did not watch WrestleMania. I don't watch wrestling all year long, and I purposely don't.
Yeah.
And I purposely don't watch it all year long because one show a year will catch me up on every storyline, all the characters in one fell weekend. And that's my weekend. Right. And they took that away from me. In the stadium, it took 2 nights to do what they did in Philadelphia in 1 night. Okay, I mean, it's crazy. WrestleMania 40 was like, that should be all WrestleManias. They should all be WrestleMania 40. I think, and you're going to think I'm crazy, the old man has lost his fucking mind, but I have to tell you, wrestling needs Vince McMahon back now. There you go.
Well, it certainly isn't doing well. WrestleMania 42 was very, very underwhelming. I think the only thing that saved it was CM Punk and Roman Reigns. Otherwise, it was the drizzling shits. But again, because we're two older guys, even though we don't look it. What's that song from Substitute by The Who? I look very young, but I'm just backdated. Yeah. But are we, Angelo, are we better off now as a wrestling fan, or were we better off back in, for me, 1975, when I could drive 20 minutes to the Nassau Coliseum and watch a really good card and pay like $5? Every
I'm telling
month.
you what, it's funny that you say that. It's funny that you say $5. I told my wife the other night, I said, you could get a ringside seat at the Philadelphia Spectrum for $7. If you wanted to, you could spend $2.50 and sit up in the nosebleeds with the other, Mama Luke's up there.
There's even a sign that says Mama Luke section, right?
Right, exactly. Because I was a few times I was one of those Mama Luke's up there. Especially if Bruno or Andre was on the card, because you couldn't get it. You couldn't scalp a ticket. But the thing is, like, I miss the rest. I miss our wrestling.
You don't miss wrestling. You miss our wrestling.
I miss our wrestling. I miss the Spectrum. I miss the Philadelphia Civic Center.
It smell like smoke and beer, right? Cigarettes and beer.
I missed the Garden. I missed the Baltimore Civic Center. I missed the Capitol Arena. Like these, I don't even know if these places are still around anymore.
I miss the Saturday morning squash matches.
Oh my God, those squash matches served an invaluable purpose. They got you into the arena that night. I remember when, if you wanted to see Bruno wrestle, you had to go buy a ticket to see Bruno wrestle because it was very rare. When he was on TV, it was an attraction,
Yeah.
And when him and Larry, blew the lid on, and the shot heard round the world when they did that, you couldn't buy a wrestling ticket. That was crazy. Everybody wanted to see Larry get his comeuppance, and Bruno gave him his comeuppance in State Stadium. By God,
Well, I know that you're a good friend with Larry. Wasn't Larry like shot at? And I heard he actually
Larry got shot at. He got stabbed in the ass in Albany, New York. He got stabbed in Baltimore in the butt cheek, and then the guy threw a beer cup of piss on him, so he ended up in the hospital with an infection.
Yeah. But he had to be. I heard that he had to be transported sometimes in the trunk of a car.
He was often either, whatever the word is. He was either transported in the trunk of a car, in the back of a police paddy wagon, or in an ambulance. That's how they got, because nobody's going to screw with an ambulance or a cop car.
But this is how strongly people felt about professional wrestling.
They wanted to kill him. Are you kidding
me? The emotions, now it's like ooh and ah about a high spot.
Well, yeah, but you're talking about Bruno. He was like, Bruno was like the Elvis of wrestling,
Right.
You're talking about a guy that was beloved, and it's funny though, but the greatest heat he ever had was with two people, Larry and superstar Billy Graham.
Yes.
And both of those guys, now we could talk about it because kayfabe is, who knows kayfabe anymore, But Larry and Superstar were both great friends of Bruno. He put them over to the moon.
Right.
Because I did a show with Superstar Billy Graham, and Superstar said, I never made any money till I worked with Bruno. Bruno taught me how to make money. But you got to say something about that. Yeah, I guess he did know how to make money.
Yeah.
Look who he learned from, Bruno learned from the best. Vince McMahon Sr., Vincent James McMahon. Say what you want about the guy's old school mentality, doing business on a handshake. I got news for you, brother. Those handshakes made a lot of cash for people. A lot.
Yeah. And it was so simple, Angelo. They did it for years and years. They bring in a new heel. Like you mentioned, Rocky Fitzpatrick, who was Bob Orton Sr. They bring him in. He goes through everybody like shit through a goose. And he was unbeatable. And then, of course, what does it lead up to? A shot in the guard against Bruno, which, of course, is a sellout. Bruno beats him. He slides down the card. They bring the next guy in. They did that for like 15 years.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how you get people over, make money, and keep your position. And they were masters of it.
Right.
I got a question for you, Ben. Where do you see this? Because I'm hearing a lot of crazy stories. Where do you see this TKO Endeavor deal going with WWE? Are they going to sell to Saudi? Because
that's what I've heard. I've heard
that's what everybody's saying. I don't know, man. You're talking about selling. You're talking about selling a promotion, an entity, to a country, not a business person in the country, the country.
Right.
Because everything's state owned there. So, Nobody owns anything in Saudi Arabia. Everybody owns everything, and nobody owns nothing. It's a strange place. The way it's financially, I guess it works for them because they got more money than God. It's crazy.
Right.
But where do you see? Give me your take on this from an educated. Because now you're a far more educated fan than I'll ever be.
Not as much as you'd think. I don't really give it much thought. It's a scary thought, though. I mean, how far wrestling has come since. Vince McMahon, didn't he? A senior. I think his office was like a hotel room somewhere in Manhattan back in the day. Yeah, and they. I mean, when you think about it, everything was done.
The Chesterfield Hotel.
Yeah, I mean, the payoffs were done there. The booking was. I mean, now they have how many people work for creative? The entire creative was like in a small hotel room.
I saw a picture. I think it was. Oh God! It was either Jonathan Coachman or Vince Russo that showed a picture. It might have been. I think it was Coachman. Showed a picture of the writers' room for WWE. There were 14 people around a gigantic conference table with Triple H, Paul Levesque at the head of the table. 14 people and can't come up with one idea. Are you shitting me?
And the funny thing is, back in the day, like in Florida, who was it? Eddie Graham and Dusty Rhodes?
That was it.
And who was it in Memphis? It was what? Lawler,
Jerry Lawler, and Bill Dundee.
Jarrett, right?
Jerry Lawler, Bill Dundee made more headway in Tennessee. Oh God, where was it? Kentucky, that whole region there. They made more money than they knew what to do with. Arkansas, they just generated cash. That's all they did.
They were able to that Mid-South Coliseum. I think it was about 8,000 or 9,000 seats in Memphis.
Yeah, it was. That was every bit of 9,000 seats.
Not once a month. It was once a week. And it was great.
Wait a minute. Not just once a week, Benny. On a Monday night, right. They would sell the place out every Monday night. They would do their Saturday show. They did 2 shows on Saturdays, Benny. They did shows in the morning and they did shows in the afternoon. And then at night, you had your choice to either go to a local show and see one of the stars of that working at a little indie show and then pay bigger money on Monday night to go see him wrestle, because that's what they would do. You could see Jerry Lawler or Bill Dundee on a Saturday night at a local, like at the high school. And they would talk you
kind of thing, yeah.
Yeah, and they would talk you into coming to the Coliseum on Monday night. And they did it. They did it.
They did it for years. And it was blue collar. It was affordable. You could afford to go every week.
$5 for ringside, $10
right.
for, for $10, you were living like a fucking king for $10, right. Man. At a wrestling show.
You got to think that, like, as Lawler or Dundee or Jimmy Valiant is walking down that aisle, they see the same faces every week, and it's almost becomes like a very intimate, like a Do you think Seth Rollins knows who One Fan is?
Not a clue.
It's so impersonal now.
It's very impersonal. I remember a place. We had a place here, Benny. I talked to you about it before. It's called the the Cherry Hill Arena. The Cherry Hill Arena held 8,000 seats. It was a hockey arena. It's where the New Jersey Devils hockey team used to play.
Okay. All right.
The Jersey Devils hockey team, right? When they did wrestling, they would, put the floorboards down, set up the ring, and then, the guys would set up the seats. But it was a nice place. It was a great, little place for wrestling.
Sure.
everybody that was anybody back in the day. Chief J. Strongbow, Bull Ramos, Dominic DiNucci, Gorilla Monsoon, everybody, anybody that was anybody in wrestling was there. Well, once a month, it was like clockwork, usually on a Thursday or a Friday night. Because Saturday nights were always scheduled for the big places like the Garden or the Spectrum or someplace like that. Okay? But for like, again, for $10, you could buy a ticket, get your popcorn, buy your candy, get a drink, and you probably had change left over to go home with.
I will tell you, I'm sure you had similar experiences. My very first show was at the Island Garden at West Hempstead, 1968. It was Bruno versus Tanaka. And one of the big things they had on all these spot shows, they usually would have a 6-man tag match, 3 out of 5 balls.
Yep.
And I remember walking right up to ringside and handing a piece of paper to Edouard Carpentier. Remember the Flying Frenchman?
I remember well, yes.
And he signed it for me. Like, he didn't say, well, go online or, I'm going to have to charge you. Let me get my credit card imprinter out. They signed, they shook your hand, right? I mean,
wait a minute.
Did that.
Since when are people paying $100 for an autograph of a wrestler? I could get a fucking movie star's autograph for $60.
Right.
Not that I would ever pay 60, but I wouldn't. First of all, you're looking at a very cheap guy. I don't spend money frivolously. I spend it on important stuff like hoagies, pizza, cheesesteaks.
Hey, priorities.
The really beneficial things in life.
The good stuff.
But where's it going? Where's wrestling going? I don't get it. I'm so conflicted because I like what Tony Khan is doing, but I want to say to him, Tony, nobody's watching your show. You got a great product, but nobody's watching it.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you, Angelo, because you are a former promoter. One of the things he did right off the bat was add, I guess, the Bucks, Jericho. There's a few people. He made them EVPs. Is that strategically a good move to make an active wrestler, an executive?
No, bad move. You never and the guy. If there's ever an example of what not to do, Dusty Rhodes. And I understand why Dusty had to do it. He was the booker, but he also made himself champion, and he always put himself over. I understand the psychology of why he did that at the time he did it. The problem is you can't take a couple of young guys still in their prime wrestling shows and running the front office. Now, granted, they were there from the very beginning, and there's something to be said about loyalty. But at some point, and I don't care what anybody says, at some point, that loyalty is going to give way to personal taste, to personal friendships. People who are really entitled to that are going to be X'd out of it for somebody's buddy, for somebody's friend, maybe for somebody's relative. Okay? It's not a good idea. First of all, why, and I think it's his own fault, why Chris Jericho went, as he's almost 60. He's 50, 56, 57? What is it?
1970s, 56, yeah.
56, okay?
And he looks it.
Yeah. What do you want to do? You're going to wrestle? You're going to play your music? Dude, you had your time.
Right.
Let somebody else. There's 56 years old. There's 2 30-year-olds waiting to take your spot,
Yeah, give them a chance. Absolutely.
So, I mean, like, you have to at some point say, is this really benefiting me? And the answer is Unequivocally, no. It's not benefiting AEW. It's not benefiting the individuals that we're talking about, the Young Bucks or Jericho, or it's like taking, I'll tell you what it's like doing. It's like taking MJF and making him co-owner of the promotion. An owner, a manager, anybody in booking, anyone like that should never be in the ring. If you're going to take a position in the office, then hang your tights up. Even if it's temporary, hang your tights up, because that's not where you belong. It would be like me at 67 years old. Okay, I'm the promoter, but I want to protect my investment, so I'm going to get in the ring and make sure that everything.
Run yourself into the storylines. Well, how about Vern Gagne? Vern Gagne, I mean, he had the belt until he was in his 50s, and then what does he do? He passes to Bockwinkel. Now, Nick Bockwinkel was great, but I mean, he was 50-something, and the mistake I think they made was now Hogan comes in hot, like the guy's got a rocket on his ass to the moon. And what do? Like, they should have, I think, Bockwinkel should have dropped the belt to Hogan. Now, Hogan's, 27, 28?
Yeah.
And see what happened, but they didn't do that. And what happened? 1987, a couple of years later, Hogan was wrestling Andre in front of, 100,000 people?
Yeah.
That same day, the AWA had a spot show at a Catholic high school. So how did that work for them?
Yeah, exactly. Here's the problem. Because I had a chance to talk to Greg Gagne to hear what he had to say. And I understand the psychology. However, there's a time and place to implement said psychology. Vern Gagne felt like he was the only one that could protect his belt. He was fearful of losing his position in the business. He was not getting any younger. You got to remember something. He started as a wrestler in the early 40s.
Right.
In the 40s. Okay?
And he was like right when television started.
He wrestled he was 74 when he stopped. What's wrong with this picture?
Right.
What's wrong with this? A lot is wrong with this.
That would be like I don't know, Johnny Bench coming out of retirement to play for the Reds.
Thank you. Exactly. Thank you. This is but the absurdity of wrestlers and their ego. You're not protecting the business. You're protecting you. Right. Is what you're doing.
Well, we both love Jimmy Valiant, but Jimmy Valiant just wrestled a match at 83 years old. That's crazy. I mean, to me, that kind of insults the business, like you just said.
Well, but you know what it is with Jimmy, and I've seen him do it. He did it with me because I hired Jimmy and his couple of his students to come up here to New Jersey. I'm in his book, by the way.
Yes,
I'm in Jimmy's book. And one of the things about Jimmy is he doesn't bump. He stands there. You have to bump. You got to take the bump.
Right.
He's just going to stand there. He's going to go like this, He's going to go, yo, daddy, and blah, 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 blah. And he's going to do his shtick. Okay. Because at this point, that's all it is, Benny. It's shtick. Okay. And the fact that he did this at 83, shame on you, Jimmy. Shame on you. You don't need to. You got your money. You made your money. You're not. I know he can't be hurting unless he's just such a poor money manager. By the way,
it happens, Angelo. It does happen.
And I know that you went down there to see him and you hung out with him for a little while.
I did, yeah.
He's got a nice house. He's got a beautifal property.
Very nice house. Yeah, the whole ground is absolutely.
He's up on that hill. He's got, Boogie's camp is painted on those little buildings he's got there.
It is truly God's country. I mean, because only God.
I
knows
know.
what's in it.
I've been out there with him several times, Benny. I'm going to tell you something. I said, you know, well, because it's funny you say God's country. I said, man, this is God's country. I think even God gets lost trying to find this place.
Yeah, you set your GPS to parts unknown, and then you drive another 50 miles after that. Like,
exactly, and you end up in the middle of nowhere at Boogie's camp.
Imagine Bruno wrestling like George Hackenschmidt. You know, so
oh my God, please.
You know what I mean? Like back then, we would have like, what the hell's this all? Get out of the ring! Like you don't belong there.
Thank you.
Do you remember? I remember one of my favorite days of the year watching as a Yankee fan was Old Timers Day at Yankee Stadium, and I remember Joe DiMaggio. This would have been like in the late '60s, so he would have been like mid 50s. He hit a ground rule double, which like the crowd popped. But it took him about. I went and got a sandwich. I think he was still like motoring it to second base. You know?
Yeah. Benny, your thoughts on this? We got somebody in the chat. Kenneth, he's a friend of mine, Kenneth Jarrett Singleton. He says AEW has too many wrestlers and belts. Your thoughts on that?
100% correct. Because number one, if there's too many belts, then the belt is meaningless. I mean, when we grew up, they had the heavyweight championship and they had the tag team, right? And then in '79 they added the Intercontinental, and for years that's all they had.
Well, and I think WWE, to its detriment, you got to remember something. What is a belt, Benny? It's a prop,
right?
It's a commodity. You got the Tuesday night champion, the Thursday afternoon at 3:00 champion. You got the 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week champion. Except on every other Thursday when it's the Thursday championship. The stupid stuff. The women's championship. The Divas championship.
Now they have a women's IC champion. It's ridiculous. It's too much. It's meaningless. The belts are meaningless.
And that's they exposed the business. It is meaningless. What are you doing? What are you doing? It's marketing. It's a marketing tool. It's like this cup. That's what it is.
And his other point,
and they're getting $500 a pop for them fucking things.
Right. But his other point was that there's too many wrestlers. And absolutely, again, you know, Tony Khan is collecting toys, you know, and he's got all the toys. But you know what? The toys don't get to work because there's only so much TV time and there's so many wrestlers. You're not going to get the TV time.
WWE just cut 36 wrestlers.
Right.
30. Okay, that's one fell right after WrestleMania. They did away with the entire Wyatt family. Done.
Right.
They screwed up. What they should have did was kept Bo Dallas, Bray's brother.
Yes.
They should have honored Bray Wyatt.
Very talented.
They showed him zero fucking respect. And my third F-bomb, and I can't even believe I even said that.
Reached your allotment there.
You know? It's crazy. It's crazy.
But again,
this
you
is
know
what wrestling does to me. See what it does to me? I'm already feeling my head getting hot.
Don't blame me though, because you brought it up. I was happy interviewing Johnny. That was great. I mean, this is great.
Great show. I'll tell you.
That was really good.
But you see that you can spark a debate even with somebody. I consider myself now that I'm out of the business. I have been retired as a promoter since 2007.
All right.
I promoted my last show in 2007. I haven't done a wrestling podcast in earnest other than a couple of very special events like WrestleMania 40 I did. And that was the last time I ever did a wrestling show. But Mike Murphy and I, Armageddon and I, did a review of WrestleMania 40 in Philly. Okay? Because he went. And so, other than that, I consider myself now, at this juncture in my life, for the first time, a casual fan.
Yeah.
That now I look at this, no longer do I look at this, not that I can't, but I don't look at this through the promoter's eyes anymore. or the Wrestling Insider anymore. I look at this from the standpoint of, if I'm a viewer watching this show, would I like this? And the answer is unequivocally no. I wouldn't watch this. I would turn like I do. I take when Monday Night Raw comes on, I go click. I take my remote.
Well, let me ask you a question, Angelo. Imagine we're back in '77, right? All of a sudden, somebody picks you up and has a time machine, and they transport you to let's say, I don't know, even the Garden in 2026, and you watch a Monday Night Raw card. What are you gonna say? Like, what is this?
That's all you could say. What is this? If you took me back to 1977, and it's funny that you say that, because that was a great year for me. I got to see Elton John, Kiss, Elvis Presley. I got to go to the Spectrum every Saturday, once every month, every Saturday, once a month. And then I got to see the local shows that would come around, like the house shows, the spot shows, they used to call them. I don't know if they still call them that, but they used to call them spot shows, where they would come to the Armory, like Larry, God rest his soul, my late friend, Larry Sharp, Pretty Boy Larry Sharp, was one of my neighbors. Here's a neighborhood for you. This is true. Larry Sharp, King Kong Bundy, Don Morocco, Buddy Rogers, Jimmy Snuka, Heidi Lee Morgan, and who else? Oh, what was her name? Amy. Amy somebody. I forgot her name. Anyway, all in the same neighborhood. Wow. Like, I mean, literally all in the same. You could walk to their houses. That's how close everything was. In one neighborhood, we used to call it Wrestler Row.
You're talking Jersey, right? Or was that PA?
New Jersey.
Okay.
Brother, they all lived here.
And our buddy Davey O'Hannon lived around there somewhere.
Davey O'Hannon's 20 minutes from me.
Right.
Monsoon I could probably
lived there
and hit his house.
Yeah.
He's 20 minutes away, right down the White Horse Pike. It's crazy. But this is the kind of thing that the wrestling fans today, and that's a problem I have with that word fan. They're not fans anymore. They really are marks. It used to be, I love what Jim Cornette says. It used to be that all the marks were in the audience paying to see wrestlers. Now all the marks are in the business hoping to get paid.
Interesting.
And that's the... What are they making? Who's paying them? They're bleeding millions. Bruno's best year as champion was $700,000, and he almost killed himself that year because of all the shit they had him doing, flying back and forth to Japan, back and forth to Europe, all over the country here. Now they get $1 million just to show up. It's called a downside guarantee.
Right.
They get $1 million to stay home if they're not working. Those 36 people they just cut loose, it cost them untold millions of dollars to buy out them contracts. Everybody got paid. Everybody. How do you do that? How do you justify that expenditure? You're an accountant, right? You're a numbers guy. You worked in finance your whole life, right?
Yes. I think the
How
difference
do you do
now
that?
is, well, when we were, younger back in the 70s, everything was centered around the arena. The TV show to me was basically an infomercial for the card, at the Spectrum, the Civic Center, the Garden. And that's where the revenue came from. Now, they signed what? How many billions of dollars with Netflix did they get?
Yeah, thank you. It's
so
crazy.
There's your money,
Netflix paid. They paid almost $8 billion. Would it be $8
billion? Yeah, not million.
Billion dollars. Okay, just to give you an idea, Fox TV paid $5 billion to do Friday Night SmackDown. That was how many years ago? 4 years ago, 3 years, whatever it was.
Yeah,
$5 billion. Netflix paid $8 billion, and for the first 8-9 months, they couldn't get it right because their streams kept dropping and dropping and dropping. They couldn't get a stream to work, and they did the same thing with boxing. Oh, the Mike Tyson. It's a wonder they had a fight because the stream was down all fucking night. My fourth F-bomb. I'm sorry, folks.
Give me Saturday morning with Joe McHugh and Dr. George Soharian.
Man. Joe McHugh
and all those guys. Mike Bittman at the bell.
Oh man.
Give me that.
You're talking about that now. You're making me.
Give me superstar Billy Graham versus like Frankie Williams,
right?
Ano Souza.
I still remember the timekeeper at the bell, Jimmy Mina and Sam Skaversky. I'll never forget.
Yeah. And then the minute I heard from the Isle of Malta weighing,
right?
You know what, Angelo? We could have been in the middle of a nuclear holocaust, and nothing was moving me from that TV set. Maybe during the commercial, I'd look out the window, see what was happening.
And then I heard the name, the doctor in attendance, Dr. George Soharian. Then I remembered that name came up again in the steroid scandal.
Exactly. But it was
Benny, I got
those were the days,
man. Hell of a night, man. Hell of a night.
I think
that was a good night.
40 between the two of us.
I'll tell you what, I enjoyed this. I really, really enjoyed this. This is good.
This wasn't really wrestling per se. We weren't talking about like matches. We were talking about the actual business and the finances of wrestling.
And that's what I love the most. I love to talk. First of all, there's not a match. You couldn't put a match together right now that would interest me.
No.
Unless it was MJF versus Cody Rhodes and title for title. That would interest me. But nobody in wrestling's got the foresight or the balls to do that.
They did it back in the day. It'd be like Backlund versus Bockwinkel or Backlund versus
I remember, How about the time at the Garden? Bob Backlund versus Harley Race. Title for title. He was the NWA champion. That's when they used to do business with each other, when Vince Sr. was around. Then
the
Vince
promoters
Jr.
They got along. Hey, give me Waldorf von Erich, and I'll give you Andre a week early.
Exactly. They used to. Then Junior went in and just started throwing money around. It was like, what are you doing, man?
He bought all the TV.
You fucked up the territories. Everything got screwed up after that. Benny, all right. Let's do this. I'm gonna put you up here, right here. This is Benny the Player Scout, Player Entertainment Network on YouTube. It's on YouTube. This is Benny Scala, Benny the Player Scala, formerly Benny Scala from Ocala, now from Newport Richey, Florida. Player Entertainment Network on YouTube. Check it out. I follow them. You should too. He's got a lot of content on there: wrestling, true crime.
Not as much as you, but I'm getting there.
Well, in a few years, you'll catch up.
Right now, you are the Harlem Globetrotters, and I remember the Washington Generals.
I do.
Remember they? Well, the score was like 120 to like 28.
I know, right?
I'm creeping up though.
Yeah. Well, see, the only thing that I got lucky. First of all, I hit the podcast thing at the right time, and I got out it's like talking with Johnny. knowing when to get in and knowing when to get out. Like when your time is done, I knew my time was done. I was getting at that, even at that point when I turned over, to you and Dan, right? It was just time for me, because wrestling wasn't fun anymore. I found myself every show, I was getting angry and bitter. It's like,
Right.
And it wasn't fun anymore.
No, it was like MASH. MASH was still a top-rated show after 11 seasons, but it's like, what else can you do? Like, we did everything we could do. It's time to move on to do other things.
What? That's like, like Grey's Anatomy. It's like 27 seasons now. Like, how many times can you do the same, rehash the same storyline?
Yeah.
But it's predominantly women, and they'll watch it over and over again. Me, I'm done. I'm done,
Right. Gotcha.
So listen, my friend, I want you to promote yourself. Where can people find you? Emails, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, all of that stuff. What do you got?
All right. So on Monday and Wednesday, Monday I do the True Crime with the Bad Girl, LaPlaya, and Dangerous Dave at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Wednesday, When It Was Real, with Nikita Brezhnikov at 7:30 Eastern Time, all on the Playa Entertainment Network on YouTube. Please like and subscribe. And then on Sundays, it is live365.com, Want Radio, WANT. Every Sunday at 3, I do my Benny the Jet. I play, like this weekend, I'm playing the year 1969. Great year in music. I'm counting down the Billboard Top 30, and I love that. Email Benny the Jet bennythejet.wantradio@gmail.com. Have any requests you want to, every show that I do, the radio show, is always a theme. Like I've done one where it was just parts of the body. One was about dreams. One, I do think that one was about people, family members, mama, daddy, brother, sister. So it's always it's not just your regular radio show. I always have something in mind.
Yeah,
I have fun.
I love it. You got a nice little variety there. It's great.
Yeah,
I like it.
Have fun. I love doing this. This is great.
Oh, you're welcome here. I gave you a whole list of stuff that's coming up.
Yeah, there's some good shows that I want to be a part of. Absolutely.
You got it. Just hit me up and let me know, and I'll send you the link. And
now, hopefully your listeners like me, though. If they don't like me, I'm not going to come back.
Well, of course they like you. Here's the way it works around here.
I know the Pitbull likes me.
If I like you, there you go. You're
all
in.
right.
Amelia likes you. You're in.
Okay.
If you get true Amelia, well, she was in here too. Where was she? Hold on. She says, "Oh, I lost interest in wrestling. I haven't watched it in over 12 years. Wrestling isn't wrestling anymore." She's absolutely right. It's not.
I have to be nice to Amelia because she lives about a half an hour from me, and she looks pretty tough. I don't need her to come kick my ass. So
I'm right. Nice. Yeah. Now hit her up down there. On behalf of Johnny Whitaker, our amazing guest tonight, on behalf of Benny, the Playa Scala, and Playa Entertainment, I am the Mad Dog. This is America's Popcast. What's the buzz? Till we meet you again, Lord willing, and the creek don't rise, be kind to each other. All right? And we'll see you Monday night. Again, Lord willing, and the creek don't rise, not creep out of the state of fuck. Take it easy, folks. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.